This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good day, I'm Elena Rusk. It was another deadly night as a man was killed in East Bakersfield. Deputies were called about midnight for a vehicle that had crashed into a stop sign at the area of Niles Street and Pisante Road. They got there to find a person in the vehicle unconscious but breathing with a gunshot wound. The sheriff's office says that person later died. Now, we're still working to get you more information, and we'll give you an update on our website as we learn more today. And Bakersfield police are investigating another deadly crash from overnight in South Bakersfield. The BPD says they were trying to pull over a BMW driving recklessly in the area of South H and Plans, but they lost sight of the vehicle. While trying to find that driver again, they then found the car had crashed into a Toyota Camry at White Lane and Hughes. The man in that Camry died at the scene. The driver of the BMW, identified by police as 25-year-old Christian Valencia of Arvin, sustained moderate injuries in that crash and was taken to the hospital. Police say Valencia was under the influence of alcohol and a suspected controlled substance. He has been arrested for DUI and vehicular manslaughter and will be booked into the Kern County Jail after he is released from the hospital. The identity of the driver who was killed in the crash will be released later by the Kern County Coroner's Office. And a vehicle slammed into a house early this morning in central Bakersfield. The BPD says the officers were called to Richland Street near South Chester just before 4 a.m. And they say one person was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries there. Plus, the CHP arrested a man at gunpoint after a strange chase through Rosedale this morning. Officers say it began about 9 a.m. near Kratzmeyer and Renfro Roads. Scanner traffic said it was a utility truck hauling a cement mixer and driving erratically, and that cement bags were being thrown at officers as the driver was intentionally kicking up dust in his wake. Several units were called for backup, including a K9 and Air 2. The driver ran at least one red light and is suspected of attempted assault on an officer. At one point, he drove the wrong way approaching Rayner Road. Now, there was then a crash, and officers say the driver took off, but they caught him on Lone Oak and Mockingbird. And police announcing another arrest from the street takeovers last weekend. The BPD says they arrested 18-year-old Ethan Sanchez of Bakersfield after identifying him as having intentionally assaulted an officer who was attempting to detain him for charges associated with the takeover and fleeing after the assault. Governor Gavin Newsom is out with a proposal to spend more than $18 billion in the coming year to offset soaring inflation costs for millions of Californians. The governor said yesterday his intention is to, quote, leverage the state's historic budget surplus to get money back into the pockets of Californians. Included in the governor's inflation relief package, tax refunds to help address inflation, including $400 checks to every eligible car owner. Billions are also set aside for emergency rental assistance for low-income tenants. And there's also nearly $1 billion in bonus pay to frontline healthcare workers of up to $1,500 per person. The governor's inflation relief plan is contained in his May revised budget, expected to be released later today. 17's Capitol Bureau reporter Ashley Zavala will have more on this announcement tonight on 17 News at 6. And happening tomorrow in response to leaked Supreme Court opinions that looks to overturn the Roe v. Wade case, community residents will march at Jastrow Park Saturday as part of a national day of action. The event is organized in partnership with Planned Parenthood, the Dolores Huerta Foundation, and community advocates for reproductive freedom. Organizers say the Day of Action is intended to send a loud and clear message to politicians that, quote, banning abortion is unconstitutional, dangerous, and deeply unpopular. We will not stand for it. The gathering begins at noon with a rally to begin at 1 p.m. And the Kern County Fire Department, in partnership with the U.S. Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management, is holding their third and final community fair for our mountain communities this weekend. This one up in the Kern River Valley at Lake Isabella Park tomorrow from 8 a.m. to noon. The purpose of these fairs is to create an enjoyable environment where members of our communities can interact with various agencies and learn how to be better prepared for emergencies like wildfires. Each free event includes fire engines on display, free food and drinks provided by the Kern County Firefighters Local 1301, helicopter demonstrations, face painting, a visit with Smokey Bear, and more. Plus, Art in the Park is back and bigger than ever. Kern Behavioral Health and Recovery Services, local art group Creative Crossing Co-Create, and Kern Family Healthcare are partnering to bring a unique art event to the iconic bluffs at Panorama Park. View more than 30 original pieces of art as you stroll through the park, or bring your own supplies to create your own masterpiece. You can head out between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. tomorrow and Sunday too. This is all part of Mental Health Awareness Month, a time to focus on taking care of yourself and asking for help if you need it. Plus, the Bagel Market returns to the Centennial Plaza in front of Mechanics Bank Arena tomorrow. That's from 10 to 3, featuring a wide variety of local vendors. The pop-up market also has food and drink merchants, music, kids' games, and much more. Entrance to the market is free. Also happening tomorrow, the Postal Service is asking for you to help stamp out hunger. The National Association of Letter Carriers is holding the 30th annual food drive, and making a donation is easy. Just leave non-perishable food in a bag near your mailbox tomorrow before your letter carrier arrives. Food collected during the drive will then be delivered to local community churches, food banks, and food pantries for distribution. While all non-perishable donations are welcome, foods that are high in protein, like canned tuna, salmon, beans, and peanut butter, are the most needed. The city of Bakersfield is extending applications for its Hometown Heroes banner program through tomorrow. The program was established to honor and recognize active duty military personnel who are currently serving in the United States Armed Forces with self-identifying street banners. The banners will be on display for 1 year to include the official military portrait of the honoree, along with their name and service branch. To qualify, honorees must be active duty military personnel and a current Bakersfield resident, or have an immediate family member who resides here in town. The deadline extended to 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. Applications must be returned, completed with the application fee, to Proforma Solutions. That's on Truxton Avenue. You can also call 633-1117 for more information, but we have all that information on our website. Just go to kget.com. And the historic Union Cemetery is gearing up for its annual Memorial Day event, but they need some help. The cemetery needs volunteers to place and remove American flags on more than 5,000 veteran grave sites for Memorial Day weekend. The flags honor the men and women who put their lives on the line to protect our freedoms. Volunteers are needed Friday, May 27th at 4 p.m. and Monday, May 30th at 2 p.m. The historic Union Cemetery is on Potomac Avenue at the southwest corner of Potomac and King. For more information, call 324-9648.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Well, in your 17 Business Watch, U.S. producer prices soared 11% in April from a year earlier, a hefty gain that indicates high inflation will remain a burden for consumers and businesses in the months ahead. The Labor Department said today that its Producer Price Index, which measures inflation before it reaches consumers, climbed 0.5% in April from March, that is. Now, that's a slowdown from the previous month when it jumped from 1.6. The April year-over-year increase declined from the 11.5 annual gain in March. That's the biggest increase since records began in 2010. But in happier news, a new Crumble cookie is coming to Southwest Bakersfield. Crumble offers fresh baked cookies and ice cream straight to your door or by curbside pickup. The bakery sells the usual staples like chocolate chip and chilled sugar cookies, but it also has specialty flavors that change every week. This new location is set to open on Gosford and Harris sometime in June, and we'll keep you posted when we learn more. All right, now to the coronavirus, as new cases of COVID-19 are rising once again across the state. And a state Senate committee yesterday passed a bill allowing teens to get vaccinated without parental consent. The bill, known as SB 866, passed in a tight 21-7 vote, with several Democrats either not voting or rejecting the proposal. The bill allows children ages 12 and up to get vaccines, and not just against COVID-19, but other shots approved by the FDA without a parent's consent. Opponents say parents should be involved in this important medical decision for their kids.
If the parents don't know that the child got the vaccination, how would they know to even keep an eye out for it, to watch for it? If they are at their second job, maybe perhaps tell an older sibling or their caretaker, hey, keep an eye out for any of these sorts of symptoms in my child. They wouldn't know that. They wouldn't know that. And I think that is unfair and unreasonable to do to a child or to any parent out there who just wants to keep their child safe.
Now, supporters say teens in California already have the ability to consent to other medical treatment like birth control and mental health. The bill now head to the Assembly for approval in that House before it can then reach the governor's desk. So let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 case numbers here in Kern County, with numbers rising significantly as Kern County Public Health updated their dashboard this morning to reflect 476 new positive cases and 31 new deaths attributed to the virus. That is a total of 2,427 Kern residents lost to COVID. State data shows we have 25 patients hospitalized with the virus here in Kern County, with 5 in intensive care units. All right, now to education news, as we are learning one of Kern County's brightest young scientists has earned a top place at the International Science Fair. We introduced you to Harjasal Brar back in March as he took first place at the Kern County Science Fair for designing, prototyping, and testing a novel, portable, energy-efficient 3D printed ventilator with a diaphragm mimicking membrane and an intuitive user interface. I know, it's incredible. Now, he then went on last month to place at the top in his category at the California Science and Engineering Fair. This morning, we learned that he has placed 4th at the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair, happening in Atlanta right now. He will take home a grand prize of $500, plus he won another $200 with a special award last night from the King Abdulaziz and his companions Foundation for Giftedness and Creativity. Huge congratulations to him.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.